Right then, another video. I don't know how many I've done today, but Porsche Cayenne. It's been here a little bit, and we've spent a little bit of time on it, but we've not actually managed to get it on the dyno properly and see how good the figures are. So this is a V8 4.2, so it's pretty much the same 4.2 engine that comes in the A8s, the Q7s and various other things. I think we've tuned a couple of them, very rare, the Touaregs. Danny will put a list of what other stuff come with it anyway, but not loads of stuff got this engine. Quite special in some ways, basically two 2-litre engines that are a bit bigger bore bolted together, just same as like the V10, there's two 2.5-litre engines bolted together. Lots of components and architecture shared between the V10 and the V12, so lots of upgrades possible if you want to mess about. So this got dropped off to us. This is actually an Irish car, Southern Ireland. This got dropped off with some really lofty goals and do this, that and the other, and I think they've probably been reined back a little bit since we got the car here and started tweaking away at it. So we'll see. At the minute it's totally standard. The DPFs are still there, it's freshly regened and everything, but we'll see what figures we can get out of it on the dyno and on the road, and then we'll probably, if we get a chance and the weather holds up, we'll flash a tune on there that'll should be pretty good, and then we'll get it on the dyno and see what power that does. The next steps after that are going to be getting the DPFs out, which looks like an absolute pig of a job. We've not done them on this yet, or on one of these yet. And then really it's turbo upgrades, but looking at what is available and what the components this have got on it from the factory, I think everything will be pretty much nearly maxed out at the same time, so it'll be like most projects, we have to change everything at once. But let's see where this takes us, see what figures it does, and then we'll have to speak to the customer and see how much further he wants to take it. So let's go for a run. So we're out in the Cayenne, and it's very, very Porsche inside. There's just buttons everywhere. All looks fancy. What's beeping at me? There's something beeping at me. Probably a parking sensor or something. But yeah, I think what we're going to be doing, we'll put it not just in Sport, we'll put in Sport Plus suspension, and then we'll Sport or Sport Plus engine, gearbox, steering, whatever else. No, what else it changes, but definitely feels fancier than a Q7, and I'm sure it's a lot more expensive as well. Probably noticed earlier, all the noise from this comes from the engine, not from the exhaust, so definitely restricted. It's got the 8-speed gearbox in this one. It says it's got a lock-in centre diff, so it's ISIN 1000, L1000 or whatever, so similar gearbox to what's in the V10. Shame it ain't got a rear diff lock. That'd be a good one. Scott really wants one of these for off-roading, but seems a bit expensive to me. Foot hard on brake. So this appears to have proper launch control, performance start initiated or something stupid like that come up with. So 5.6 to 60, not bad. God knows how much this weighs. Must be a lot. We'll see if it doesn't weigh back down. Really aggressive gear changes. 5.3. Pretty quick. Not sure what this book's at, but all in the launch. Super aggressive launch. I don't think there's tons of gains to be had in the 0 to 60 time. I think maybe I have to try and get some proper figures for this, and I'd have thought it'd be in the 60 to 100 sort of in-gear performance where you'd see the biggest gain, so we'll see what we can gather before this video goes out. That's quick. That is quick for a standard motor. Sounds pretty good, but I don't know if it's exhaust speaker. Probably is. These V8s, they would sound nice. Unsilenced. Let's bang a tune on it. See what it can do. Oh, it's beeping. Sport plus suspension, Sport plus chassis, gearbox, and drive. So we have the tune on now. Not sure how good it's going to be or how bad it's going to be, but hopefully it is faster. But the dyno tells no lies, so that's the true test. The problem with these big heavy buses, which is what we found with Amaroks, you can knock half a second off the 0 to 60 time if you're really aggressive with how the power's delivered at low end, which is good for showboating but probably not the best for the drivetrain. So not expecting miracles too quick already. It already has a lot of torque. We're just increasing the power more at the top end. We'll see on the dyno anyway. Definitely not slow. Yeah, that is good. Kick down as well. The gearbox tuning on this is really nice. Even though it went for the kick down, then it didn't scream it and not move anywhere and then go. Just acceleration all the time. I like to drive something for a lot longer than just a quick run up the road to be sure how I like it. This does feel pretty good. Squeeze. Crazy in gear acceleration. Well, parking sensors decided to just ruin my life. So the parking sensor is ruining my life, but the acceleration's not. 4.7. which I really need to go back up again, but I have no idea how to stop that parking sensor beeping at me like that. Why is it even doing it? Maybe some hidden menu somewhere or something stupid. It's got a button for everything else. How annoying is that? Oh, what? That front parking sensor just decided to die. Stop for a second. was a lot faster. I could probably improve on that. Low 4.5s. I think you can. I don't know if you can grumble at that from this super aggressive between shifts. It's like, nah, just tip it. Not the initial kick that's most surprising. Crazy fast. A big outputs. Sure, some of the more modern stuff's even quicker, but it's definitely not slow. I'm not sure if we're gonna have time today to get this dynoed. I'm at the track tomorrow, so we'll get them to get it on the dyno anyway. We'll see what figures it's doing, and we'll update, and then see what we're doing after that. So, managed to get it on the dyno. I were off yesterday, so they've had a little play and mess about, but not really managed to improve it much from where we were before. So the limiting factor on the dyno, at least, seems to be these intercoolers, which they're pretty decent airflow to them, pretty decent airflow out of them, but we're seeing inlet air temps knocking on 100 degrees centigrade on here. But when you're on the road and it's 20 degrees outside, they're only 40s, 50s. So it is just a case of, this is probably a bit high for the fan in our dyno, but don't seem to hurt it if you let it cool down between runs. But if you run it again and again, you start losing a bit of power. So this should be 385 standard, and I think it was 630 foot-pound of torque. So this is what we've ended up with. We got up at 760 pounds-feet and 441 horsepower. So it were a little bit high on the torque as standard and a little bit low on the power, but the tacho's set good, which is what everybody was saying about the last 335. Everything's fine. It does what it does. So for a standard car, pretty much with just a map, that's good. Really happy with that. Obviously, the acceleration figures, they were pretty good. Before this video goes out, we'll try and get some figures at higher speeds and stuff like that, and put them into the video. They'll be at the end, or you've already seen them. I don't know. So this has pushed quite hard as standard anyway. Your 1.8 bar of boost standard, so we've lifted that to about 2 bar. But they've got turbo speed sensors and exhaust manifold pressure sensors, so you're always going to come up against limiters with them as well. The standard turbo speed on this is 220,000 RPM, which is absolutely mental. So we've only just nudged that up another 10,000 RPM, and make sure that the EMP is not getting too high and stuff like that. But you're limited on what you can log on these, even though you've got sensors. It's hard to log everything. EGTs are not getting too hot now. We're getting to about 870s, something like that on the road on a long pull, which you'd like it to be less, but when you're pushing everything to death, there's no what you can do. And the fuel pump, the fuel pressure is just about getting to the point where it's sort of unstable. If we ask for any more, which is a telltale sign that the fuel pump is out of puff. So we're pretty much limited now. The turbos are definitely the first limit. If we upgrade them, there'll be a little bit more power in it. I think very quickly after the fuel pump, because that's only a 0.75 cc per revolution displacement, which that is pretty much the same as what's on RA5, and obviously stretching the injectors a bit more in that, but that did 405 or something, and that's as much as I do. So we're doing pretty good to get 440 out of this. And the injectors, we're having to extend the duration maps on them a little bit as well, beyond what they're calibrated. So I think if we change the turbos, we might be able to cool it down a little bit, maybe gain a few horsepower, but then we'll start dropping to limit mode for rail pressure, so then we need to upgrade the fuel pump. Then if we do that, we'll probably realise that the injectors are a little bit too small as well. So it's kind of at that point where everything's going to run out at once. If we're being realistic, if we're being optimistic, we'll put turbos in and we've got loads more, but not from what we can see. So this is the sort of market, the people that are going to come to us, this is what most people are going to want, just a map, might get rid of the emissions equipment, stuff like that, if it's causing problems. But the next step is quite a bit of work if we're going to do it. The turbos on these, apparently they're meant to be engine art jobs to do them, but they always say that on all stuff like this. I think we might be able to sneak them without that. I don't want to build a hybrid turbo based on these because the housings are absolutely tiny. Oh no. The beep. So I think if we're going to do anything, we're going to put some bigger turbos on there. I've got some ideas, I've got a supply if needs be. It just depends if this customer wants to leave it with us a bit longer and let us have a play. I'm not sure if he does or not now, but we shall see. There might be another video on this one. If not, we'll get his own V8 engine and we'll tune that. So that was going to be the end of the video, and this was going to be the start of a new one, but I think we've upset everybody in the company trying to do this because it's not going to be easy. But anyway, we'll try, and if somebody knows any better way of doing things or a little cheat, then please tell us and we'll see what we can do. But it ain't looking good. So this is the top. You can see the exhaust manifold here. I can't see a turbo from here. And maybe if I got a mirror and I'm a contortionist, yeah, I can't see the turbo. I can see the top of the downpipe, but I can't see the turbo. So the other thing we're going to do, so we could see some heat shields and stuff here. I thought maybe there's a little access hole or something like that, but no. That's bolted to the inside of the car, so we'd have to try and take a load of bolts, and that goes all the way to the front, which you can just see that there, so that's not easy to take out. So I thought maybe there's a bit more room here. Steering rack's in way and another heat shield. So we'll have a look underneath. So then, obviously this is the downpipe, this is the DPF, so the DPF's there, but it's all in one piece. Unlike the earlier stuff, the earlier 4.2s, the V10s, and the V12s, I believe, it's two separate pieces. You can unbolt this here, take this off, which is easy. But then, see, that's the AdBlue nozzle there. That's probably easiest thing to get to. There's just one Allen key to take that off. But then, looking in from here, I can see the actuator of the turbo here, but still can't really see any downpipe bolts. Not sure if this side we can see. Yeah, they're not easy to see if they are there. This side's a bit easier because you've not got the steering rack and the prop shaft in the way, but you've still got like an earth strap up there, some pipes tick off, which don't look very easy, and I think I still can't see all the manifold bolts. No, can't see anything there. But this one, I think if we could get to all three bolts, which one of them's definitely touching the engine, I think if we could get them out, we'd probably get that out without taking anything off. But this one, to get this out, you're probably going to have to take the prop off. But take the prop off, you're going to probably have to drop this middle bit of the subframe and the transfer case and the rear bit, which means taking everything all the way down off, because there's none of this is bolted together. It's all just pushed together. So yeah, I don't think this is going to happen. And even if it would happen, we're sort of dropping the engine down, subframes down, and all that sort of stuff. Are we ever actually going to sell any of these to people? Open to options. Obviously, there's somebody somewhere in the world has done this, and I think if you take the engine out, everything will be easy on these. So if you've got a reason to take the engine out, then it's not a big job. But yeah, not happy. I'd like to be doing more to this. Obviously, we've got grand plans to start with, and they've been scaled back anyway, and then now it's looking like we have to scale it back a bit more. So let us know what you think, and hopefully, John, if you're watching this, sorry it's not as easy as we all thought. Stop beeping. Stop beeping. How do I stop it? How do I stop the beeping? There's a button somewhere. Somebody will be screaming at the screen. Oh, just stop beeping. I have no idea. It's not even there. I mean, up there. Right. What is it beeping at now? Stop.